And he was going to be the one in politics, but then he got scared. Says he doesn't have a thick enough skin, which I have a very thick skin thanks to my brothers. I did a bunch of things, went to school. I lived in Japan. We had a Japanese exchange student live with us in high school, and then I lived with her after university. We went back and forth, we've exchanged kids. She was in my wedding party, I was in hers. And then I was director of some language schools in Toronto. Then I stayed home with my kids for 9 years. And I can't sit still. I have 2 speeds, full throttle or sound asleep. So I was just changing things, like just walking up and down the neighborhood with the clipboard. I started a farmer's market because I was worried about food security, and started a bike group and a tree group and a residents association. And because I'm a little bossy, and so I'd be walking up and down the street with my clipboard, and I swear to God, my neighbors would be like running inside their house and slamming the doors, like, look out, she's going to tell you what to do. And the thing is, and I'm a big environmentalist, so dragging my kids to every protest under the sun. And the problem is that I like to make things fun. So I like to wear costumes. So I was dressed as a pea in a pod or carrot, broccoli at my farmer's market. And at protests, I'd be environmental protests. I'd be a polar bear, a recycling bin, a wind turbine. And much to the chagrin of my kids, who now live in BC, and you cannot blame them for getting the heck away from their mom. They're 24 and 25 now. So as I was home with my kids and we were doing all these things, and we crusaded for the pesticide bylaw in Toronto because I was worried about them climbing on lawns, everyone climbing on lawns and that were sprayed with known carcinogens. And so then I started to see the value of politicians, like these city councillors can make real change, and they can do things, for the greater good or against the greater good. So I started to get curious about that, and then I thought, what if I just throw my hat in and I run in 2010? And so we had no campaign manager. We didn't know shit from potty, pardon my French, about running, and other than door knocking with my dad when I was a kid. And we were the tiny campaign that could. We were hungry, we were out there, we were door knocking. I love door knocking because you don't know who you're going to get. You can get someone calling you every name in the book and slamming the door, or they invite you in for tea. And I'm always thinking, I'll just kill you with kindness and win you over somehow. And we were up against an entrenched incumbent, a speaker, deputy mayor, and the goal is to identify supporters and then pull them on election day. We identified 2,000 supporters and won with around 16,000. It was a big shock, it was a big upset, but we did wild and woolly things. We handed out packs of M&Ms at the subway station on election day, because I'm like, who's going to remember my name? But you'll remember the letter, so when you go to the ballot polling station, you can see all the M's. And thanks. And so we won. But I ran on term limits, 2 terms in and out, if I got in the second term. So, at City Hall, we talk out of both sides of our mouths. We say we want gender equity, we want diversity, we want youth. But then we don't leave our seat forever. And it's very hard to unseat an incumbent. I did. But there was a bit of a scandal. So it's really not the candidate wins, it's the incumbent loses. And so that helped me. We ran a clean campaign, but that scandal was out there a bit with with my predecessor. So I thought, I'm gonna be the example for term limits and show that you can get in, try and do a good job, and then get the heck out and hand it over to someone else. And so I tried to bring that policy to City Council in the first term, and one councillor said, see this hunk of junk? I'm going to kill it. And so he threw it, deferred it indefinitely, so essentially killed it. Second term, I got 11 votes out of 45. I thought that wasn't bad, it was a start. And there was right, left, and center, like nonpartisan, all sides of the House. Or the floor of council voted for it. And then after 8 years, I left. I voted myself out of a job, which was like kind of a gutsy thing to do because I was the breadwinner in our house and I had 2 kids in university, but it was the right thing to do. So then I got my life back and I did other things. And then, actually, Mike Schreiner from the Green Party asked me to run provincially, and I didn't even think about running provincially. And so I was kind of curious, love him and love, trying to save the environment. But I was kind of like, well, if I'm going to try and get in, I got to try and see if it can be actually done, and I'm not sure I can get in with the Greens at this time. And so then the Liberals asked me to run, so I thought I'll just get in Green the Reds. And I work well with Liberals, have over the course of my adult life. So we ran on Triple M, and we were the one new riding to get in. And here I am. I expected a better outcome than a year ago. Didn't happen. But fighting the good fight, trying to bring everyone's voices here. It's a little challenging at times because we have, there are only 8 of us, and we don't have party status. We need 12 for that. But, so kind of the accidental politician. Anyone here thinking of running for office? Ever? Hand up? No?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I'm happy to be your coach and help out. Maybe give you some advice anytime. But there's lots of leadership roles that I would encourage you, if you're not already doing them, which probably you are, and I'd love to hear more about that, but I would encourage you to don't be shy, step up and take on leadership roles. You don't have to be so bossy, walking around, marching around your neighborhood with a clipboard, but you can get things done. And and your voice matters, and it actually matters hugely now because number one, youth have the balance of power. And it's just about mobilizing, which is a lot to be thrown on you, but you see the outcomes of these elections, and I try not to. My kids, sometimes they get into a little state of apathy and despair, and it's like, no, you can actually be the change, you can help, you can do it, don't give up. I'm an eternal optimist. I'm, try and pick myself up, dust myself off, and get back in that chamber and bring the voices of beautiful beaches, East Yorkers there, and environmentalists, and try and make, build a better Ontario. I'm going to leave you with 2 quotes, because I think I'm probably way over my talking time. And one is, well-behaved women seldom make history. So that's by Eleanor Roosevelt, I believe. And then I have another one about the table, which I love the former, or the person speaking before me who had the quote about the table. My quote favorite quote is, if you don't have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair.
Oh.
So thank you very much. Keep in touch. Triple M, always available to listen and learn and get inspired from you. Thanks.